We're now less than 3 months from Election Day, and Joe Biden is likely just days away from making his long-awaited vice presidential announcement as his campaign finalizes the intense vetting process. As we discussed at the top of the hour, Axios is reporting that Biden confidants believe his choices have narrowed down to Senator Kamala Harris and former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Susan Rice. Axios says those confidants, quote, would be surprised if he picks anyone else. Joining our conversation, Washington Post contributor and MSNBC political analyst, former Democratic Congresswoman Donna Edwards, and Morgan State University professor of politics and journalism, Jason Johnson. He's also a contributor to The Griot and an MSNBC political contributor. I think VP speculation is worthless, and my own personal Palin history makes it also traumatic. So I want to get both of you on the record, not with predictions, but with just your thoughts. I mean, are we skipping over the aha of this? I mean, these are two brilliant, qualified, vetted women who, if these are the two, one of them will face off against Mike Pence, and that should send fear through the entire Trump organization, Donna.
And well, it should. You know, when I think about the choices that the former vice president has, I really think that he has had a tremendous array of talent in front of him, and that I've said before, this comes down to a deeply personal choice as well as a political one. And if I were Mike Pence, I would really worry. Frankly, Donald Trump should worry, because part of the role of the vice presidential nominee is to be able to get out there, be on the stump or virtually, and really hammer away at President Trump. And I think either of these two women and others would do exactly that. So I don't like to speculate, but I'm really looking forward to the choice.
You know, Jason, I know that normal candidates look for a partner to run the country should they win. But I reported this earlier in the week, and I think it was misconstrued. The Trump organization views this selection simply as another casting for the single night and the single purpose of the vice presidential debate. And my reporting suggests that they're most anxious about Senator Kamala Harris, that she could just chew up and spit out Mike Pence. Obviously, that is not the only criteria for Joe Biden, and that's not the point of this reporting. But just from the psychological impact that choice would have on the Trump campaign, it seems they're already psyched out. They have sort of the opposite frame around their more debates or more strategy for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I agree, Nicole. Look, I think that Senator Harris would do a very, very good job of taking down Mike Pence. People forget, look, Mike Pence was a radio host. He's not thoroughly incapable, but I think that Senator Harris would do a much, much better job. I think Susan Rice would do a better job, but I suspect that the entire debate would pretty much boil down to Benghazi, 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 Benghazi. So I think, though, what I thought was interesting, and I'm similar to you in this regard, at this point, speculation seems, it's sort of filling the space, because when it comes down to it, both of these people are capable. Both of these people are qualified. One happens to be better known. I kind of push back on this notion that the Obamas would be more enthusiastic if it was Rice instead of Harris. Not to sort of attack any of the reporting, but I'm pretty sure that Barack and Michelle Obama are going to be enthusiastic about the Biden ticket no matter who he ends up picking. And that's what I think people need to realize. It's a personal decision. He's going to be happy regardless, and people are going to be galvanized. I don't think he can lose with either of these two candidates, regardless of how much enthusiasm Republicans seem to have for resurrecting old conspiracy theories.
I want to put up for both of you the electoral map. Again, these things can change. I gave up the prediction business, but I also used to work on campaigns, and I never worked on one that looked this bad. I've worked on, I think I've said this, winning campaigns, losing campaigns, and a tie campaign. But if this is what it looks like, and I understand that the internals that the Trump campaign looks at shows Florida a little closer than where we have it, but to have Arizona leaning Democratic, to have Michigan out of reach, and that is in line with what the Trump campaign's looking at, to have New Hampshire, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin basically lost cause. Donna, this is daunting.
No, it really is. And I mean, if you're Donald Trump and you're looking at that map, I think that that campaign must be trying to calculate where in the world can we possibly win? Some of those states, as you pointed out, should not be on any list for a Democratic candidate to be running and running strong in. You pointed to Arizona, but look how close Texas is getting. Look at Florida and Georgia and North Carolina. As I said before, better to be at this point, 89 days out, in Joe Biden's shoes than in Donald Trump's shoes.
Jason, one of the impacts of this really strong map for Joe Biden and for Democrats is that Lindsey Graham is in danger. His challenger there, Jamie Harrison, also polling at 44%. What would the psychological impact be to sort of defeat Donald Trump's mini-me in the Senate?
This is, I'm sure everybody here remembers this. This is like years ago where Republicans knocked out Tom Daschle, right? It was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You took out one of the leaders of the party. You're not supposed to go after the generals. This would be massive if Lindsey Graham were to lose. Now, I know that the Republican Party is going to try every single voter suppression trick in the book, but he is up against a formidable candidate, a candidate who is from South Carolina, and a candidate whose message, to be honest, Jamie Harrison's message is, okay, look, this isn't even about Trump. What kind of bacon is Lindsey Graham bringing back home to the regular people here? And that's been the strategy that I think Democrats have figured out over this Trump cycle. Look, you can argue about Trump. He may remain popular in a state, but if your senator is spending more time yelling and screaming at impeachment hearings than he is building roads, building bridges, and reopening rural hospitals, maybe it's time for a change. And I think Jamie Harrison has run an excellent campaign, and 3 straight polls of showing them statistically tied, that's basically Lindsey Graham losing right now.
I mean, I think Jamie Harrison is also running as his own man, and Lindsey Graham is most often photographed as something more akin to Donald Trump's caddy. Jason Johnson, Donna Edwards, thank you very much for spending some time with us today.